Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Saturday, November 29, 2025. And in the news this afternoon, government working to have all school shelters vacated by January term. The Minister of Local Government is working to have all schools that are being used as the shelters vacated before the start of the new academic term in January. The ministry has said it is looking to prefabricated housing solutions as an alternative arrangement to relocate hurricane evacuees. Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie says 4 retrofitted containers have been identified to relocate residents and the staff of the Trelawney Infirmary in Falmouth, which was destroyed by Hurricane Melissa. Other hurricane evacuees who have also been sheltering at primary schools in Falmouth will also be relocated. The process is expected to take up to 6 weeks. Mr. McKenzie says a major problem for the authorities is the shelter at the Petersfield High School in Westmoreland, where the population has been growing.
We have over 140 residents there. I understand based on information that we have people coming there daily. No. And so we might have one number today, tomorrow we have another number, but we are looking at that. So all the shelters that are being used now are schools. Once there is no way to where to locate them, then those shelters will remain open, and we've been working with the schools. But we are hoping that between now and the end of this month, before the school term begins, after the Christmas, that all the school will be vacated of shelters. The roof of the female ward was totally devastated. If you notice, the roof has gone back and they are doing the repairs. There are other entities in there, the canteen, the storeroom, the washing area. All of those areas were destroyed, and we are presently putting on the roof. We're cleaning up the therapeutic park, so at least this park, it was the first therapeutic park that was established under that program by local government. We're hoping that we can have this park up for Christmas.
In the meantime, Chairman of the St. James Municipal Corporation and the Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, said there has been a fluctuation in the number of hurricane evacuees in shelters across the parish. He said at the count done last week, the number had moved from 214 to 163. The shelters are largely in the rural areas, and most of the residents are males. Mr. Vernon said there are 24 children in the shelters, and assessments are being done to ensure they can get back to school as quickly as possible and to address any other needs they may have. He added that the municipality has been identifying community centers and other spaces to facilitate the shelterees so schools can be prepared for the resumption of classes.
And we are doing some assessment to ensure that they are in school, and if they are not in school, to get them back into the system and to look at their particular needs so we can treat with them accordingly. We also have been very proactive in identifying spaces like community centers to facilitate the shelterees in the interim while we make preparations for the reopening of schools.
Jamaica could take up to 5 years to rebound from Hurricane Melissa, says the PIOJ. The Planning Institute of Jamaica is warning that the country could take 3 to 5 years to return to pre-Hurricane Melissa output levels as the extensive damage from the storm continues to disrupt agriculture, tourism, infrastructure, and the community livelihoods. The PIOG says the recovery will require resilient building strategies on economic, social, and environmental fronts. It noted that the speed and the strength of the rebound will depend heavily on how quickly key humanitarian and economic support measures are rolled out. As a result, the PIOJ is not expecting a resumption of economic growth before the October to December 2026 quarter. PIOJ Director General Dr. Wayne Henry said the rebuilding effort will be large-scale and long-term, even as recovery crews continue to work across the island.
There was significant loss of productive assets, which implies that an extended time is required to rebuild. Given that recovery from COVID took 2 years, with productive assets in place. We anticipate that at least twice the time will be required for full recovery from Hurricane Melissa. A damage and loss assessment report on the impact of the event, led by the PIOJ, with support from the United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, UNECLAC, and the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, has commenced. It is anticipated that the assessment will be completed in late December.
Newman calls for toll booths to be equipped to detect defective vehicles. President of the Transport Operators Development and the Sustainable Service, Egerton Newman, is recommending that toll booths be equipped with equipment to detect defective vehicles in order to improve safety on the nation's roads. His commitment follows a Wednesday's crash on the P.J. Patterson Highway, which claimed the lives of 5 people. 9 others, including a 2-year-old child, were injured and taken to hospital. The incident happened around 3 p.m. involving a Toyota Hiace bus traveling towards Kingston. One of the bus tires reportedly blew out, causing the vehicle to hit a guardrail and flip several times. Mr. Newman says motorists should ensure that their vehicles are fitted to traverse the roads. I want to strongly urge our drivers to understand if it's not on the tire that is bad, it can cause a massive accident. And I am not just talking about the PPV vehicles now, motor vehicles on a whole, check your vehicle, he urged. He appealed for the National Road Safety Council to devise more ideas to detect defective vehicles on the nation's roads. Mr. Newman was addressing public transport operators on Wednesday evening in their weekly online forum. Opposition questions Health Ministry's testing capacity for leptospirosis. The parliamentary opposition believes the number of leptospirosis cases in Jamaica is much higher than what is being reported by the Ministry of Health. The Health Ministry says 90 cases of the disease were reported up to November 26. 21 of the cases were confirmed. The ministry also disclosed that 6 of the 14 leptospirosis-related deaths reported nationally have been verified. But opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, says the true representation of the disease is not being reflected due to inadequate testing.
I don't think that we're testing enough, or if we're testing, the results are coming back fast enough. The Ministry of Health needs to be a little bit more forthcoming about their testing capacity. Are we testing here in Jamaica, or are we sending samples overseas? If it is the latter, what is the search plan when we are going to have a lot more probable cases in the next few weeks, and that will demand a higher rate of testing? And these can be used in a primary care setting, doctors, in the communities, clinics, and even in homes where persons can get a droplet of blood. But we have to expand testing capabilities. That's the only way we can get to an early diagnosis and get targeted treatment of leptospirosis, because in the early stages it's very similar to flu, dengue, as well as other viral illnesses.
Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.